Hey Leo, welcome to Honeybird Tarot. I'm Shan, and this is going to be your general reading for May 16th through the 31st. Okay, so as usual, we're going to start out with some oracle cards, but this time I'm going to use two different oracle decks. The first one are the Adinkra Ancestral Guidance cards by Bresi-Ando, Tools for Living. Please. And I do pre-shuffle all the decks, but I still like to shuffle a little bit on camera. Yeah, a cocoa name. A cocoa name is the leg of a hen. And it is a cocoa name tiaba na enkuno. The hen treads on her chicks, but she does not kill them. This talks about tough love. Let me read. All right, nurturing and discipline. There is a need to assert your boundaries in a firm but nurturing way, Leo. Right? Being both protective and corrective is an ideal goal of a parent. Learn to apply this skill to many aspects of your life and relationships. Additional meanings for this card are teach people how to treat you, enforce now and reap the rewards later, and lead by example. Okay? And this oracle deck is the Okana Oracle. And this deck helps to facilitate shadow work. You got two, so I'm gonna read both of them. All right, the first one you got is reconcile. Love yourself, for only then can you love others. And then you have toil. He who aims too much gets very little. Okay? Reconcile talks about you questioning whether you want to have a reconciliation in a given situation, whether it's a love relationship, with family, with a job, because you really feel like that reconciliation is going to be the best thing for you and the other parties involved, or if it's because you just can't let go of something. And toil talks about being overworked to the point of being eventually unproductive. All right, so let's see what the guidebook has to say about both of these. All right, reconcile. The shadow element is allowing reconciliation of failed interpersonal relationships to commence out of a need for outside acceptance or outright refusal to be alone in the healing process, when in fact the need is to be more concerned with accepting oneself. There always comes a time when we are given a chance to break away from unsavory relationships with love interests, friends, family dynamics, but we struggle to cut the cord of dependency. Dependency on what exactly? Could be obligation to family, unresolved spiritual ties to past lovers, or just an inability to exist in solitude in order to mend what has harmed us within these interactions. This card suggests that you struggle with your need to reconcile toxic relationships before healing due to some arbitrary entitlement someone has with inserting themselves into your life, or your dependency on that relationship to feel valid, loyal, or feeling discomfort when disconnecting. It suggests your ability to only recount the good times with someone you're struggling to love from a distance to justify keeping that parasitic connection alive and well, feeding on your spirit and ultimately your growth. Why do you stick around when you know this is not working? Leo. You may be wanting to reconcile in some way with someone. Does not have to be a love relationship, even if it's family or friends. But Spirit is saying, why? Like, have you done the necessary healing? Have they done the necessary healing? Is there anything about the situation that has actually changed to make you feel like it is it has transformed from something toxic and parasitic to something beneficial at this point? Or are you just trying to go back because something in you feels lacking, or something in you makes you feel like you need this particular relationship in order to be validated? Is it just an inability to spend time alone and be with yourself and get to know yourself? Questions you should ask. All right. Toil. Shadow element is struggling with feeling overworked but feeling guilty when rest is needed and acted upon. There exist so many books, articles, and videos showing us how to take a guilt-free rest. Why does the idea of giving yourself a break make you feel guilty? Why does the idea exist that unless you're toiling in the soil 24/7, you're otherwise wasting precious, non-refundable time in your life by taking a mental health day to recoup, regroup, and realign? We oftentimes need outside validation. There's outside validation again, Leo. Ooh, they in Leo's business. We oftentimes need outside validation to tell us, yes, it's okay. Burnout is a documented concept. Give it a break. Before we take a step back and be still. This card suggests that you're struggling with this balance, never allowing yourself time to live your life outside of work or family obligations, and belittling your need for a day off. Being a hard worker is all well and good. However, one of the main draws to being efficient is being able to step away and appreciate the progress made, acknowledging the future and disconnecting in order to recharge and coming back to tackle the remaining objectives. Family obligations came up in both of those cards, even though you can be toiling in a romantic relationship too, or in friendships. But since family relationships was specifically mentioned in both of those, and a Coco Name is here, which talks about the ideal characteristics of a parent, or teaching people how to treat you in any relationship. I feel like Spirit is calling some Leo person, and I'm a Leo moon, so they're in my business too, to take a look at their interpersonal relationships, be they family, friendships, or romantic relationships, and examining if we have been showing people how we want to be treated, if we have been leading by example for how we want to be loved and cared for. And, if we haven't been doing that, then what makes us think that going back to those relationships that have already proven to be toxic is going to be beneficial? And I feel like Spirit is saying, if you would just stop working, and chances are you're probably working out of that same sense of validation that causes you to want this reconciliation. If you just stop, if you take away the relationships that are validating you, if you take away this overwork that is validating you, and you learn first how to treat yourself and create healthy boundaries for yourself, then you could see more clearly whether you should be trying to reconcile, and you will have a clearer view of how much work is healthy and productive and where the cutoff should be. All right. So we're going to get into the tarot now, and we're going to use the Akamara tarot. And these are by the same creator as the Okana oracle. Okay. I love these cards. They are based on images and concepts from African spiritual traditions and spiritual traditions that are found throughout the diaspora. And yeah, that makes me extremely happy. That's what Honeybird Tarot is all about. Let's just roll Ooh. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot of messages for the Leos, but let's make sure they are clear. Okay. Messages for Leo. Second half of May. Okay, Leo. Right. So the first card you have is the Two of Cutlass, which would be the Two of Swords in the traditional tarot. This talks about having to make a decision and making a decision based on your the knowledge and wisdom that you have, a decision based on your thoughts, and a decision based on your emotions and intuition. In the traditional tarot, the person who is having to make a decision with the Two of Swords is blindfolded, so they cannot rely on their physical vision or what they can see to help them. Excuse me. They can't rely on what it is that they see to help them make the decision. It's based on what you feel and what you know. Okay. The next card is the Nine of Calabash, or the Nine of Cups. This is a wish fulfillment card, a self-fulfillment card. This talks about total emotional fulfillment in oneself, not needing external validation to feel emotionally whole and full. And it's about having put in the necessary work to reach that point of total emotional fulfillment with oneself. So not using work or relationships to feel validated, and certainly not allowing people to tread on you, teaching people how to treat you once you've done the work to learn how to treat yourself. Okay. The next card is the Four of Cutlass or the Four of Swords. This talks about rest, relaxation, self-care, meditation, prayer. It's about taking time to be in solitude, to spend time with yourself, to get to know yourself, and to learn how to love yourself. The same message here of Okana. Even though that card is more about teaching people how to treat you, you can't teach people how to treat you if you don't know how to treat you. And the way to get to know how to treat you is through this right here: solitude, rest, relaxation, prayer, meditation, self-care. And focusing your mental energy on that. Because cutlasses or swords are about thoughts and mental energy. So not just taking a bath and lighting candles and all of that, but really understanding why you're taking the hot bath, really understanding why you're lighting the candles or why you're lighting the sage or the incense, or not just spouting off affirmations, but actually taking the time to internalize those affirmations, to believe what it is you are telling yourself when you say them. Okay. And then after that, Leo, you have upheaval. Upheaval would be the tower, I believe, in the traditional tarot. Let me make sure. It's a 16. I'm pretty sure that's the tower. Yes, will be the tower. And this talks about anything that the tower would be spirit or the universe coming in to knock over anything that is not built on a stable or sturdy foundation, something that you've been holding on to that you needed to let go. In this deck, it is a volcano. So it kind of reminds me of the energy of the Eight of Wands, only because it talks about something that has been held back, and then all of a sudden there's a lot of passionate energy or action that is released all at one time. And the Eight of Wands is about passionate messages that are coming in quickly. The Eight of Wands or Eight of Fire in another deck that I have in the Orisha Tarot has 8 volcanoes on it. And it talks about having repressed feelings, specifically romantic feelings, for a long time, to the point where the feelings just bubble up and bubble over. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic feelings, but I feel like this is something that has been held back or held on to, and then Spirit says, there's no more holding back, or there's no more holding on to. So you could have been holding back from telling someone you don't like the way they've been treating you, holding back from telling your job you need some time off, and Spirit is like, okay, you're going to lose it. You're going to blow your top. And it could have been holding on to a relationship, and Spirit just, it blows up. It could be a friendship, some other form of interpersonal relationship. Doesn't necessarily have to be a romantic one, but it very likely is. But the thing I love about towers is that once everything comes down, it creates a clean slate. You have a new foundation upon which to build something solid and stable and sturdy, using the lessons that you learned leading up to and during that tower moment. And that is expressed in this particular card by the fact that when volcanoes erupt, they create new fertile land for new life to sprout up on. That is called primary succession, when a volcano literally creates new land. That's how islands are created. When volcanoes erupt underwater or in the water, and the lava hits the water, it cools, creates new land, and then before you know it, all these new organisms and plants and things start to sprout up, because it is new fertile land to build something on. Right. You also have Ea Calabash. And Ea Calabash is the Queen of Cups. She is undecided about whether she wants to give this cup of love that she has, which really is full of love. That's why she's here upside down. Like, she's like, I have this, and I mean, I have it to offer. I kind of think I want to, but I'm not really sure. But nevertheless, she is a loving, nurturing, caring energy, and she just really is trying to figure out whether the object of her, her love, her nurturing, her caring, her affection is actually deserving of what it is that she has to give, which makes me think about reconcile. It could be you or someone else, Leo, that is here wondering about whether they should reconcile with someone, be a friend, family member, lover, and they just really aren't sure about it. And Spirit is saying, whether before you focus on, whether the person or that other entity is deserving or not, you need to focus on your reasons for wanting to reconcile. Are you doing this to fill some type of void within yourself? And for you, Leo, I don't feel like that is the case, because you have the 9 of Calabash here, which speaks to your total fulfillment within yourself, your total emotional fulfillment. So if you do know, Leo, and don't take this as a blanket statement saying that you aren't trying to fill a void. If you know specifically that you, Leo, are trying to fill a void, then you can see this card as Spirit reminding you that you need to be in this energy first before you can even start to think about whether the other party involved in the situation is worthy of reconciliation or is ready for reconciliation. Now, if you know that you are here, if you are emotionally fulfilled on your own, then okay, you can move to that next level of saying, was the toxicity in the relationship coming from the fact that I was depending on the relationship for something that I shouldn't have been dependent on the relationship for, or was the toxicity coming from that other party? It could be both. Do they have things that they need to change or work on before this reconciliation can happen? Because if you aren't totally fulfilled and in the right energy, and that other party is not fulfilled and in the correct energy, then it will fall down again. In Tower moments, upheaval is not a pleasant thing. Now, in some cases, Tower moments or upheavals can be pleasant, because like winning the lottery, that is pleasant, but it's not easy. You still have your whole life changes after that. Everything changes. People talk about all the time how when they get money, they end up with more problems. So whether it's a pleasant or unpleasant upheaval or tower moment, changes that make you uncomfortable are sure to come along with it. And if you don't want to experience unnecessary discomfort, I suggest examining whether you want this reconciliation for the right reasons and whether it is the right time and right energy for it, okay? Under the deck, which could be a position of something being hidden or just overall energy for the spread, we have the 8 of Cutlass or the 8 of Swords. So this is really being in your head about something, feeling trapped in your thoughts and feeling like you don't have anywhere to turn, left or right. You can't move forward, you can't move backward, but that is just a mental energy. That is you like having cyclical thoughts and feeling like you are stuck or trapped or don't know where to go next. But you absolutely can come out of that. It's only mental energy. You're probably feeling trapped because maybe the answer that you keep arriving at just might not be an answer that you're willing to accept yet. I feel like someone is in their head about, dang, should I give this couple love or should I not? Should I make this love offer? Should I reconcile or should I not? And maybe the answer that you're getting is not the answer that you want. So you keep asking yourself the same question that you have already gotten the answer to. I'm just reading the cards. Don't be mad at me. We're going to clarify. Clarifying with the Rider-Waite. The tower is there on the bottom of the deck. We're trying to run back in the tower when it's falling down, Leo. So that Eight of Swords, which is here in the Eight of Cutlass, if it wants to be able to come back out, came out with too many other cards. I've been getting this card a lot. It's a lot of happily single people out here. That's beautiful. People have been spending time with themselves, forced to spend time with themselves in quarantine. I think a lot of people are realizing they like themselves better than they knew they did. They've been focusing that energy internally and building themselves up. That's beautiful. Anything else about the Two of Cutlass, please, Spirit? Any other clarifications or elaboration for the Two of Cutlass? Anything else? Okay. So clarifying the Two of Cutlass, this decision we have here. The Nine of Pentacles. This is someone in their happily single energy. They have everything they need. Their finances are stable. Their house is beautiful. Everything that they touch or that they're involved in is flourishing. They are getting messages from spirit, whether that is directly from spirit during their time of meditation and solitude, or it could be through other people, through messages that spirit is sending to them to tell them things. And we have also clarifying the Two of Cutlass, the King of Wands. Now, this is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. The King of Wands. So it could be you, Leo, but it could also be someone else that's involved in this situation. And the King of Wands makes wise decisions when it comes to his actions and about where he is going to place his energy. When he makes a decision to act, he does so. Down at his feet, there is a salamander. Salamanders represent the initial energy, the initial spark that it takes to animate something, or whether that be a project or a relationship, an actual person, whatever. It is the necessary fire energy that is present in all life that helps us carry out our actions, whether that action is just being or whether it's doing something. So I feel like this could be you in that energy, Leo. Like you've made a decision to take some specific action and you are doing so by yourself from a place where you are, you're both completely financially fulfilled and like stable when it comes to earthly tangible things, and you're completely fulfilled when it comes to your emotions as they pertain to yourself. You have two beautiful self-fulfillment cards here in your emotional space and in your physical reality. Beautiful, Leo. I'm sorry if you hear my child squealing. She's playing video games. Why is the Nine of Calabash here? Okay. So the Nine of Calabash is clarified first by the Hanged Man. So this is spirit having you in a holding pattern where you really are not able to move forward with a certain decision or a certain action until you gain a new perspective on it, until you gain some spiritual enlightenment around that situation. That could be the spiritual message that you are getting about this action that you might be wanting to take. Spirit could be saying, I need you to see this a different way, and it's being in this new place of being fulfilled in your emotions that's allowing you to have this new perspective on something. And you got there by going through the Four of Swords energy, the Four of Cutlass. Rest and relaxation. The story behind this card is that when soldiers used to come home from war, they would come and lay in their own coffin to remind themselves that it could have gone another way. They didn't have to make it back from the battle. But since they did, that they were going to rest and relax and rejuvenate themselves and also think and spend the mental energy, because that's what swords or cutlasses are about. Think about how they could put what they learned to use to make life better for themselves moving forward. And I feel like that is the new perspective that Spirit is wanting you to gain. Maybe there's something about a relationship that you've already been in that you are needing to see from a different perspective so that you can gain the lesson from it and move forward without needing to repeat that same lesson or having to go through the same tower again. The Five of Pentacles is here. This talks about a feeling of being left out in the cold. So it could be that the upheaval of the tower moment was a breakup, and maybe you feel like you got the short end of the stick, or maybe you didn't necessarily want it to end. But I feel like Spirit is saying that you are needing to look at that breakup or look at that situation from a different perspective and see it as a blessing. And also in this card, these people are out in the cold, in the snow, but help is there. It's lit up and warm inside this church that they're walking past, or inside this building that they're walking past with these stained glass windows. So if you go and ask for help, and I definitely feel like it's a church, because how many other places have stained glass windows? If you go in and ask for help from Spirit, go within, go inside to ask for help from Spirit, you will gain the necessary new perspective. Or maybe you have already done this, and that is how you arrived at this Nine of Calabash, this personal emotional fulfillment. And it could have been around another fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And if it isn't to do with another fire sign, it could be saying that, gaining that new perspective is going to make it possible for you to take passionate action towards something else. Or maybe you feel left out in the cold by an energy that has been in and out of your life, because that's what the Knight of Wands tends to do. He comes in quickly and passionately, and he leaves quickly and passionately. And it can be a female. We're talking about masculine and feminine energy when it comes to the cards. And we all have both masculine and feminine energy. Why is the Four of Cutlass here? Okay, obviously you wanted to be out. Do you have any more before we cut this? Okay, so clarifying the four of cutlass that going within rest, relaxation, meditation, prayer, self-care is the eight of cups. So I feel like you had to walk away from something, whether this walking away was forced by this tower or this upheaval, which ended up with you feeling left out in the cold, or whether it was your decision to walk away, you still could end up feeling like you left yourself out in the cold. You left something that was warm and comfortable to be out here by yourself. But the only way to arrive here at this nine of cups or nine of calabash is to go through the eight of cups or the eight of calabash. And I feel like you did that. You walked away from something and you have spent the time or are spending the time to get to know yourself. And that is bringing in an opportunity for a stable new beginning for you. And I feel like that stable new beginning is how you ended up here in this nine of pentacles energy, because you decided to take that energy that you had been expending in whatever unstable situation you were in and focus it inwardly, and that new opportunity for stability is what brought you to this self-fulfillment that you're in. But you still have some regrets and some sadness around this situation. You still think about it and long for these three cups that are spilled, but Spirit is saying, look behind you. You still have two cups there that are full, and the two of cups is a beautiful thing. It really is. It's a beautiful thing. You just haven't turned around to see those two cups yet. But I feel like once you have gone through these energies, once you have completely healed yourself and have filled those voids within yourself so that you're not looking for them to be filled or validated from some external source, you will turn around and find your two of cups. Where's upheaval here? All right. So upheaval, the first card that came out clarifying upheaval is the High Priestess. So I feel like your intuition was telling you that this tower moment was necessary or that it was coming. I don't think it fully caught you off guard. Or this could be you knowing that the tower moment or the upheaval was necessary for you to get to this, which was your next card. The Four of Wands. This is the 1111 card, or the Twin Flame Soulmate card. It's also a marriage card. I feel like that upheaval is what has allowed you to clearly see what is coming in for you. And I feel like what is coming in for you is justice. So if you were wronged, you're going to get your just due. If you wronged somebody else, you're going to get your just due. But these cards together with upheaval just solidify for me the idea that Spirit needed you to see something from a different perspective for you to gain some other spiritual knowledge before you could receive what was due to you in the form of this lasting, stable love, this lasting, stable passion, not this unstable passion of the Knight of Wands that you had before. Why is it your calabash here? Ooh, so many people have gotten this card today. I feel like this is Venus doing her thing. She in retrograde? I think she went in retrograde yesterday or today. Oh my goodness. Leo, I don't know if you're dealing with the Sagittarius. So many people have gotten both of these cards. I feel like at least 3 of the other signs have gotten those. Okay. So, clarifying Ia Calabash, the Queen of Cups, who has not decided whether she wants to give her cup of love or not. You got the Lovers. A decision about love or around love. I feel like Leo, you are deciding to move towards this love connection that was also represented here by the 1111 card, the Four of Wands. I feel like you have a newfound confidence in that the tower or the upheaval is um, clearing the way to have a stable beginning that isn't overshadowed by anything that was left unbalanced. Things are going to balance out so that you can have a stable start for this love. And the next card that came out to clarify Calabash was Temperance, which is the Sagittarius card. But it's a card, if you're not dealing with the Sagittarius or have Sagittarius in your chart, about balance, about tempering your emotions, having one foot in the water or in your emotions and one foot on solid ground. So feeling what you feel, but not allowing yourself to be carried away by those emotions. And if you look behind this angel, there's a road leading to the sun, a road leading to total happiness and fulfillment, total illumination and clarity. There's an angel in this card too. So this is a divine love. And I feel like the divine is asking you to temper yourself, to balance yourself out so that you don't bring imbalance into this love situation. But the Four of Cups is here. So I feel like you may feel like you missed an opportunity for this before, or you may be so focused on these 3 cups, focused on those 3 cups there that spilled. And even though they're full again now, they're upright now, you spend so much time thinking about the hurt or thinking about what was knocked over that you are missing or in danger of missing a new opportunity that's being offered to you. Or maybe it could be that this is just not a satisfactory cup and you're waiting for this. You know better which way it fits your life, Leo. But under the deck, you have the Ace of Wands. That's a new passionate beginning or an opportunity for a new passionate beginning. So I feel like that is what is coming in after this tower moment, after this upheaval, a new passionate beginning in love. And it's not just a new passionate beginning, but it's also a new stable beginning. You have the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, and the Lovers. I feel like that's a pretty good omen for love, especially with the fact that you already have the Nine of Calabash and the Nine of Pentacles here. So it's not like in your singlehood you're lacking or feeling like you need something to validate you. I feel like you spent enough time going within, because you got this card twice. Going within, doing the necessary self-work, that you've put yourself in a position to receive the love that you want, that you desire for yourself. And that's a beautiful thing, Leo. A really beautiful thing. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 major arcana cards, which makes me feel like a lot of this is up to the universe. I feel like a lot of this is what the universe is going to bless or gift you with because of the amount of self-work you've been doing. And Spirit is just asking you to maintain your balance, to keep up those that self-work that you were doing to help bring you into this place of self-fulfillment that you find yourself in, Leo. And if you are choosing to reconcile with someone and this is not a totally new love connection that you're moving into, be absolutely sure of your reasons for reconciling and make sure that you show people how to treat you and that you are not allowing people to walk on you. The hen treads on her chicks, but she does not kill them. Don't let anybody tread on you, whether it kills them or not. I mean, whether it kills you or not, don't let anyone tread on you. And that the treading in that card is really talking about setting boundaries and sometimes having to show tough love to people when they don't treat you the way you deserve to be treated. So keep that in mind, Leo, if you are thinking about reconciling with someone, okay? All right. I love you so much. I hope this resonated for you. If it did, please let me know in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe. And make sure that you follow me on Instagram at Honeybird Tarot. Tomorrow I'm going to go live, I think at about 6, either 6 or 7. And I'm going to do a live love reading where I allow people to ask yes or no love questions. So please meet me there if you can. And like I said, I love you very much. And I will see you next time. Pelu Ife, with love.